The Boeing 757 is one of the workhorses of Delta's fleet. However, older models of this airframe are nearing 40 years of age. Can an airplane that is almost twice as old as me still compare to the modern, sleeker airliners of today? Stick around to find out.
Good morning from my house. We are in my driveway. I am getting ready to head to the airport, and I am very excited for what this weekend has in store. Today we're flying on a Delta Boeing 757-200, one of my favorite planes that is flying in the sky right now. And I cannot wait. We are going to see how economy fares us today down to Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, and should have a good time. I'm very much looking forward to this. But in the meantime, I'm running about an hour late, so I have to get going.
All right, we've made it to a gross, yucky, rainy, foggy BWI. I am running behind, hoping security is a breeze. Usually at the D concourse it is. Where you run into some trouble here is A and B for Southwest, sometimes C. Ryan's flying out on American, so he's flying out of C right now. Hoping we board in about an hour. Hoping takes less than 20 minutes to get there. That would really help me out. Plus there's a Starbucks right past security. Maybe I can pre-order before I get to security and have that ready for me waiting there. Also need to find a bathroom. Yeah, I will see you when we get past security. We're about to head into Concourse D at BWI, gate D24 today. All right, well at this point we have made it past security. Got my Starbucks. It took about 15 minutes. I've never seen that many people at the D concourses here at BWI. Looking out now to Terminal E. This is weird, there's a Delta 757 parked over there. Terminal E here is for the international arrivals and departures. Our gate's all the way down at the end of the concourse, so I do have to take a hike, but about 45 minutes out from boarding I should be completely good to go. BWI D gate's not that big, so see what happens when we get there. So the D gates here serve primarily Delta and low-cost carriers, Spirit, Frontier, JetBlue, all over here at the D gates. I do see an American 738, which could very well, I see two American 737-800s, which could very well, either of them be Ryan's plane. He's connecting through Charlotte, I'm connecting to Atlanta, and the common destination between us today, Dallas-Fort Worth. That is end of the road for us today. We're going down there for a hockey game, so should be cool to see that. Never been to Dallas, and we're meeting up with Ruben when we go down there too. So should be a fun vacation, doing a little 757 trip report, and then we're gonna do a Delta versus American basic economy comparison on the way. So should be a lot of fun. A little nervous about connecting through Atlanta. Got about an hour and a half to do that, but you know how Atlanta gets. Gates are like 8 gates away from each other, so should be good to go. But I don't know, movement happening at 5:45 a.m. for a relatively not too terribly busy international airport. It is 6:10 a.m. Ryan's plane in the C concourse right across from me. I'm looking out the window at his plane getting ready to push back. I have about a half hour till boarding. 20 minutes till boarding. I walked over to the other end of the D concourse. It splits. And Delta has about an Atlanta flight leaving every hour. They just finished boarding the 6 o'clock flight, which is a little delayed. Hoping that doesn't happen to me. There's also just a boarding call for United. Today is actually the day that both United and Alaska have decided that they're going to return their 737 MAX 9s to service. When we did our trip around the country a few weeks ago, we were supposed to fly a MAX 9 out of here to Chicago, and that got canceled because of the MAX issues. So we ended up flying that 777 out of Dulles. So it worked out for us, but we were looking forward to flying on a MAX 9. I do wonder when the next MAX 9 will appear here for a flight to Chicago. We'll see. It should just be a matter of days, as most, from my understanding, have already been inspected. So there's that. Would be interesting to see, because Alaska always, not always, Alaska used to fly MAX 9s here too. They kind of fly one of everything. I've seen 900 ERs here and all that stuff. So at United call, going to Chicago, not on a MAX 9 today. But we'll see. Maybe I'll walk down there. I have a few minutes. I'll walk down there, see what it is on. Did see the Delta A220 going to Salt Lake, which would have been the return trip of our red-eye that we would have made had we not gotten delayed in Portland over there too. So a little Delta A220 action here at BWI at 6 o'clock on a Friday morning.
This Delta 757 was going to Atlanta as well, departing just about an hour before my flight. There must have been some sort of issue because they pulled the jetway back up to the aircraft and began shining flashlights on the fuselage under the nose. About 15 minutes later, they pushed back and were on their way after a short stop next to Ryan's flight on the de-ice pad. Departures on this day were on 15 right out of BWI. Connecting through Atlanta is always stressful, but as of now, we have on-time boarding.
First one in main cabin one to walk down the jetway. Pretty exciting. Love the 757. By far my favorite plane in the Delta fleet. Finally back on one. Got asset pilots for a trading card too. All right, 31A. We have a wonderful wing view. I'm excited. This is probably the best seat on a 7.5 I've had. I've only been on two. Just a beast of an airplane though. And this is the Delta boarding music. I like this. Comfy seat, normal seat, regular seat, full flight. So we'll have people. But yeah, excited headed down to Atlanta again. 7.5. Great leg room for a 5.5 guy like me. Love this plane.
Legroom on the 757 was plentiful for me, like I said. Being short isn't the best, but I do think of it as a perk when I'm flying. Of course, the flight tracker on the IFE screen is always a nice touch. Delta has 4 different seating configurations for the 757-200, the 75D, the 75G, the 75H, and the 75S. This particular registration, N686DA, was a 28-year-old 75H with the H meaning high density. In total, counting the 757-300, Delta operates 5 different seating configs in their 757 aircraft. Those clouds on the wings during takeoff were just the beginning of the clouds we would see over the next hour and a half of this flight. From takeoff to landing, I barely saw the ground once. However, it was cool to see New Mexico 1 and Tennessee 1 on the ground at the gate before we left. I picked a seat on the left side of the aircraft so I could get a view of this amazing sunrise. It did not disappoint. Unfortunately, what did disappoint was this crew of Atlanta-based flight attendants. They weren't bad, but they weren't great either. They didn't seem too particularly thrilled to be on this trip and just looked bothered when I asked them for Biscoff instead of cookies, even though it's the same thing. I'm not usually one to criticize the crew because, let's face it, every crew is different. But it just seems like this crew did the bare minimum that they could for our comfort. I only saw them twice, once for the snack service and once again before landing to pick up trash. The in-flight entertainment options on Delta are always stellar. Plenty of movies and live TVs to sort through, and even a Spotify section to listen to music.
Their IFE is top tier in my book, and no one does it better than them. As we began descending into Atlanta, I noticed a doppelganger off to our left, another Delta 757, this one coming from New Orleans. Being the busiest airport in the world, I wasn't shocked to see another plane alongside us for landing, and it was pretty darn cool. Now it's time to talk about the comfort of this flight. Does the Delta 757 compare to other newer planes? I think so. Delta does exceptionally well at maintaining and modernizing their aging fleet. This 757 felt nowhere near as old as some newer 737s or A320s I've been on in the past. The slim seat design with the seat back TV is a must-have in today's aviation world in my opinion, and Delta obviously takes the cake with the in-flight entertainment options. Also included on this flight for SkyMiles member was free Wi-Fi, something I can assume to expect fleet-wide from Delta in the very near future. All in all, I love flying on Delta 757s not only because they have a storied history and are a pinnacle in aviation, but also because they are still a comfortable ride in the skies. I also want to give a huge shout out to the pilot of this flight. As we were deplaning, I asked for a trading card. If you don't know, Delta pilots carry trading cards around with the planes they fly. He told me to wait out in the jetway while he went to grab one, and when he came back, he walked up the jetway with me, and we talked aviation the entire time. That was really cool. Another fantastic experience on Delta, hence why they are my airline of choice. As we taxied into the gate, I could only think of how comfortable I was for the entire flight. Although a short one, it was still a great experience. Have you ever been on a Delta 757? If so, tell me in the comments below and if you enjoyed your experience. I would also like to thank everybody for watching this video. Apparently, my students have found my channel and enjoy my content too, so thanks guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you the next time the sky calls my name.